Good morning, restaurant owners. Welcome to this week's live training on how to use your accounting and financial reports to improve profits and cash flow. Let's move on to this week's topic. Let me share my screen. And we are a day early this week since I'll be on the road traveling all day tomorrow. And here we go, the 5 moves that separate profitable restaurants from the rest. This is a guide to restaurant financial mastery for independent owners. These 5 moves, these are the 5 foundations upon which we build our service, our accounting and advisory service for independently owned restaurants. And these are the 5 moves that really move the needle on improving profit and cash flow. Welcome to Financial Clarity. My name is Tim Cernett. I'm a CPA. I'm the owner of Financial Optics, Inc. And welcome to this week's live training. We do this every week for independent restaurant owners to give you some insight into the accounting and finance and how that is really one of your core business processes that allows you to manage your restaurant, make good decisions on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, so that you're getting the maximum profitability and cash flow out of your restaurant. So what we do is help restaurant owners accelerate prosperity by providing financial clarity, actionable financial insights, and strategic foresight. So let's move on to these 5 steps that will give you control, confidence, and a clear path to improve profits and cash flow without requiring an accounting degree. That's what we have, and that's what we bring to the table, as well as a real understanding of how restaurants operate and the moves you need to make to ensure your longevity. Step 1, get your accounting systems right. It starts with a custom chart of accounts for your restaurant, cloud-based accounting hub. We use QuickBooks Online, and an integrated tech stack. Now, each of these steps, we've done separate weekly trainings. You can find them on our YouTube page to cover in detail each of these steps. And even inside of step 1, we've done separate trainings on customizing your chart of accounts and integrating the tech stack. So the chart of accounts needs to be set up so that you're tracking your key restaurant metrics, your food costs, your beer, wine, liquor, non-alcoholic beverage costs, your front of house labor, your back of house labor, making sure you're capturing those cost percentages, those cost metrics, so that you understand where your restaurant is at, where it should be at compared to where you want it to go. More on that in a little bit, so that you're constantly aware of the levers that you need to pull to improve profits and cash flow. You want to have a cloud-based accounting hub. We recommend QuickBooks Online. It's the most popular. It's the most integrated of all the online accounting, and it does the best job for independently owned restaurants. So you want to make sure your point of sale system, your payroll system, your AP systems, and even tools like Margin Edge are all centralizing that data into your cloud-based accounting hub, your QuickBooks Online, so that you have all that detailed information at your fingertips inside of your QuickBooks. That's where the integrated tech stack comes into play. We want to make sure that your point of sale system, your payroll, your AP systems are all synced into QuickBooks. Excuse me. So they're populating QuickBooks Online on a daily and nightly and weekly basis, so that you're getting as close to real-time financial reporting on your restaurant. If the numbers aren't real-time and restaurant specific, they're not helping you. Step number 2, build a financial plan that works for you and your restaurant. The big chains don't weak it, they plan and they hit their numbers. This is a 12-month rolling budget. You're taking your profit and loss statement, which, as we just talked about, is customized via the chart of accounts for your restaurant, and you're projecting that profit and loss statement monthly over the next 12 months. That's a budget. Budget to me is kind of a dirty word. I'd rather use forecast or plan. Create your detailed plan for sales, cost of goods sold, labor, your overhead, and your cash flow that evolves as your business grows. You want to define success based on KPIs, metrics, um, your KPIs, track product cost of goods sold, labor percentages, net profit percentages, operating cash flow. What do you want that to look like over the next 12 months, and how can you improve each of those little areas, maybe by a percentage point or two, which adds huge profit to the bottom line just by pulling those levers a little bit. You want to set achievable targets, stretch targets so that you're accomplishing something in your business, but achievable targets. Start with where you're at today, looking back at history, and how can you improve that over the next 12 months? And eventually, over maybe the next 2 years, get your bottom line net profit up to 15% or better, which is what the big chains shoot for. You know, most independent restaurants achieve a 5 or 6% bottom line profit or worse. The chains, the big restaurants, the big restaurant groups, they're shooting for 15% or higher. So start where you're at today, plan for accomplishing achievable improvements, achievable chunks, so that over time you can get to where you really have a successful restaurant, the business of your dreams. Step number 3, execute with tools and weekly reviews. So what is your plan? What's your budget? What's your forecast? And then how do you make those improvements with food cost control tools? Monthly inventory system, you have to be taking inventory. If you're not taking inventory, you're just guessing on what your metrics are. A daily waste tracker, shift-based key item trackers, weekly sales projections to understand how to manage your par values and how to manage your inventory so you're reducing weight. All these tools complement each other and feed each other so that you're getting not just food cost controls, but beer, wine, liquor, if you sell alcoholic beverages, your non-alcoholic beverages, making sure that every metric is in line with where it should be according to your type of restaurant and where you want it to be according to your plan. Labor cost control, building the ideal labor budget based on operations and profit goals, labor KPIs and schedule templates, identify and eliminate waste, overstaffing, excess prep time. Again, food cost controls, labor cost controls. We actually do a 2-week back-to-back two-part training on labor cost controls, and food cost controls is a separate training as well. Then you have your budget, you have these tools that you're using to achieve the budget, and you do weekly, at a minimum monthly reviews. So you compare your results to the targets. What was the plan? How did we do? How does it compare? Where are we off? Why are we off? What can we do to get back on track? You're analyzing those patterns and opportunities, and maybe you can even improve more than what you had planned. So let's adjust the budget. So you're adjusting and making immediate corrections, not only to your operations, but maybe to your budget. Maybe your budget wasn't realistic and you need to either shoot higher on your improvements or peel those back a little bit so you can start to achieve some of those improvements and build confidence and continue to improve. These tools don't just cut costs, they reveal profit hidden in plain sight. So that is step 3. Step 4 is engineer menu profitability. This is not an easy thing to pull off, but it is key if you want to continue to hit your profit margins. You need to start with detailed recipe costing. Know the exact cost of every item you serve down to the garnish and the sauce. This precision creates control, and you start with batch recipes. Whatever your in-house cooking, creating in batch recipes, that's where you start. Portion control, standardized serving sizes across all shifts and cooks. Consistency. Your customers will appreciate consistency, and that consistency and portion control helps you hit your profit percentages. And then a menu mix analysis. So you've got your detailed recipe costing, you know what every item, the profit margin of every item on your menu. Then you analyze your menu sales by count, and you promote your high profit stars, fix or eliminate your low profit dogs. And again, we do a whole training on engineering menu profitability. So that's step 4. And step 5 is mastering cash flow, understanding cash flow in your business. Your profit and loss statement, your bottom line operating profit or net income does not necessarily equate cash flow. There are balance sheet items that eat up cash. If you're stocking too much inventory and your inventory turn is low, you need to get that turn higher. And also managing your inventory helps eliminate waste on perishable items. You have to manage your accounts payable. Are you paying your vendors within the terms that they've given you? And are you doing your best to make sure you're taking care of your key vendors so that you can start to extend those terms when they have confidence that you have the ability to pay your bills, and you do pay your bills on time? So negotiating favorable vendor terms. And are you financing your business strategically? Do you know when to borrow, what to borrow, and where to secure the best terms for your restaurant needs? That has a huge impact on cash flow. And that's, again, another thing that doesn't show up on the P&L. It's a balance sheet item. When you're paying off debt, the interest portion of those payments shows up on your P&L. The capital balance reduction on those loans does not show up. That's a balance sheet item, but it highly impacts cash flow. Your cash reserve policies. Are you building reserves for taxes, repairs, payroll crunches? Do you have enough working capital and cash reserves on hand to survive seasonality fluctuations and maybe poor weather, so that you can survive those periods where if you don't have the reserves on hand, you're going to feel that cash crunch and maybe have to make some poor decisions about your business. Running out of cash isn't bad luck, it's bad planning, and you can fix that. Let's bring it all together. Restaurant financial mastery, the 5-step system. Set up your accounting system so that they're tracking what you need to know as a business owner and what your business needs to track. Build your financial plan, a plan that suits you and your goals for your restaurant, and how to improve your restaurant incrementally in bite-sized chunks over time to create that business of your dreams that defines your goals and your KPIs. Control your prime costs weekly, daily, actually. Use systematic tools to manage food and labor like a pro. Engineer your menu so that it is creating the most profit possible for your business. And then master your cash flow. Understand what's impacting cash flow so that you're never worried about losing sleep over cash flow, over meeting payroll, or whatever the case might be. Those are the 5 steps. That is the foundation upon which we build our service for our independently owned restaurants, and we help them achieve the business of their dreams. So what's your next step? Schedule a profit and cash flow analysis meeting. I'm going to leave a comment below this video that will give you a link to my calendar. Schedule a half hour or an hour-long meeting. Let's just take a look at your business, a look at your financial results, identify some opportunities, and perhaps take the next step towards mapping a path to more profit and cash flow. Most restaurants, if you're doing $1.5 million or more in annual revenue, we can help you easily find $25,000 to $100,000 in hidden gains to the bottom line and to your cash flow. So click the link in the comments below, and we'll see you again next week for another weekly training on managing your accounting and finance to improve your profits and cash flow. Have a great week, everybody.